Food and Wine Insider is a weekly look at a $1.5 trillion industry touching every American. Visit us at foodandwineinsider.com.
And our next guest is Giovanni Calivita. He is the president of family-owned Calivita Foods, one of the best-known food companies in America. Giovanni, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to wait and turn it directly over to Ann.
Thank you, Don, and welcome to the show, Giovanni. Very nice to have you.
Thank you, Ann.
It seems that olive oil has been in your blood almost literally since you were a very young child. Could you talk about how your father, Leonardo, got you involved with the business at a very young age?
Yes, I started running around in the family business with my grandfather, actually, Giovanni, who I was named after. And but my father, of course, was the one that get me passionate about this business. And what he really taught me was by showing me how passionate he was, got me passionate. He didn't tell me, he involved me since I was young, sharing what was going on, the decisions, and stuff like that. But he really was, for me to look how he loved that business, that got me in love with it. And what he taught me was always the passion for this business, but the family tradition and the attention to the family and the family value. So those was the thing that brought me to the business, and which I try to teach my kids now.
And did he give you advice on what your career would become?
No, there was what I appreciate, what now I appreciate of what he have done. He never forced me to the business or was give me the idea or the impression that that was my only choice. He always told me, you have to work in the business only if you love it. It's not enough if you like it. You need to love this, because family business, it's consume you if you don't like it, if you don't love it. But I'm so passionate about, and I was there when the business started, and when we were packing the oil at home. There was no such thing as a bottling line at the time. Everything was done with the family together, and was so bonding that I just can't think to do anything else.
That's wonderful. Colavita USA is headquartered in Edison, New Jersey, and your business has grown to over $250 million globally, with your biggest West. You were the first company to bring EVOO, which is extra virgin olive oil, to America in the 1970s. Could you please talk about how you brought Colavita to the American consumer?
Yes, that was my uncle honeymooning in 1978 with his passion for traveling and for promoting the Italian food. He decided, he asked my grandfather, together with my father, would it be possible to start promoting the product that my grandfather was producing with his meal around the world. And with the blessing of my grandfather, he came to the States, and during his honeymoon, he was looking for a partner in the States. He found John Profaci, and with an handshake, they started the business. In 1980, the first container was shipped and was on consignment. Was okay, let's see if we can sell it. But the first target, their target was the chefs, because at the time extra virgin olive oil was not available in this market and was too strong of a taste to be appreciated by the final consumer without education. And as every trend in the food industry starts in the kitchen, starts in the chef, in the restaurateur ends. They understood that was the way to go, and they started from the food service industry, from the little restaurant and the larger restaurant, and they got the support of the chef, and eventually they supported the chef, supporting the CIA. We have the Colavita Center, for example, in the Culinary Institute of America, It was a way to give back to the industry that has given us a lot, and a way to keep promoting our brand in that industry. So that's how we started, and today we do more than 40% of our total business. It's towards food service, so restaurant, hotel, and hospitality in general.
You know, so many trends really do start in food service and ultimately make their way to retail, which is quite fascinating because you get to affect how the consumer tastes things, how they experience things, and that really happens almost on the food service side more than if it just started in retail. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you've done in the food service industry, the issues of, not the issues, but the opportunities of making sure you have a quality product, that there's consistency, maybe even what the challenges are in terms of pricing in food service.
Yes, and again, I want to take back from one of my grandfather's advice, one of the few advice I remember, because I was a young child when I was with him. He always taught me to focus on quality. He said, Giovanni, remember, business on quality requires a lot of time to build, but you don't lose that easily. If you lose a customer on quality, you lost him forever. So based on that's it's always been the what inspired our family to do business. So we definitely focus on quality and quality customer that looking for quality. But of course, quality means by itself means nothing. It has to be a quality, but has to be you have to be competitive in what you do. So in saying that, we have products that go. We cover a vast range of products, and we supply a range of customers that go from the Olive Garden group to the Michael White of the world. So from the Michelin stars restaurant to the fine casual dining, because we have a different range of products. We range from our core super premium selection Italian extra virgin olive oil, where we track to the tree, to the producer. We have a relationship that goes 3 generations back with the producer of those products. And there are customers looking for that. And then we have the product that is an European selection or single country selection. So I'm talking about just the olive oil right now. So we can cover different needs and different price point requests by the food service industry. But what's the success? The reason why we had a lot of success and why today we lead the oil and the vinegar category in the food service industry as a brand is because what we can guarantee, being a family business operating by the family, so the quality is selected by family members. It's the quality, but not just quality itself is not enough. It's consistency. In the restaurant, you need the consistency. You cannot have a product that is bitter one day and is sweet the next day, delicate the next day. You need a product that is consistent. So if I need a delicate olive oil, I need always the same taste profile. So that's our job, and that's what we know how to do better, consistency.
Giovanni, thank you for that. And I'm going to return with some of the questions, but I'm going to turn it over to Don for a few questions. Don?
Well, thank you, Ann. I'd like to jump a little bit. You said consistency, but I'd like to ask a question plaguing every American business. What are you doing in the e-commerce world?
E-commerce, it's actually a personal success, and which I'm proud of. And it was about 10 years ago, I moved to the States, and I had this dream of the online, and succeed on the online world. I thought that was the way to go, and I was actually inspired by one of my friends that was working on the online for cosmetics, a different category, but and how successful they were, and I decided to invest on the online. And it wasn't easy because food didn't the food didn't develop as quick as the other category online. But today, we are very happy. We had a 1,700% growth in 4 years from 2014 to 2017, and we lead Amazon with our category and the online business overall. So it's been a very successful business. We have a great team, which has the credit for this because they are the one making it happen. And we see our business, 20% of our retail this year is online. So it's a big part of our business and growing.
Well, I'm going to ask one more question and turn it back to Ann. But but what do you sell online, and what is your website?
So our website is colavita.com. And we sell, of course, all our product on colavita.com, but most of them are available in the other online platform, Kroger.com, Amazon.com, Shoprite.com, Walmart.com. I mean, you can name, we are all over those platforms. Of course, in our colavita.com, you'll find every single item.
Well, this is a radio audience. Can you spell out your website?
Yes, Colavita. COLAVITA.com.
Oh.
And there are information about the family and about, because I mean, there are not many family business left in our category. Most of the players on the olive oil in the United States are part of hedge fund or big conglomerate. We are the only family business actually left in the top 5.
And I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you, Don. I really give you so much credit for seeing the future as being in online, and 20% is a pretty big percentage. What do you think is the future of the traditional supermarket in the U.S.?
I'm not seeing the supermarket disappearing. I don't think the online will become majority of the business. The online is going to be, at one point, is going to settle between around 30%, I believe, of the total volume. The retailers are reacting. They woke up and they realize that they have to do something different in order to attract consumers. So they start doing curbside pickup. They start doing online as well, and they start changing, even remodeling their store to be more attractive and to give a reason for the consumer to go to the supermarket. I mean, there are consumers like my wife will never shop online. She needs to go to supermarket, select her own produce, her own fish, her own meat. So she's not going to go online. And there are going to be those kind of consumers. So the retailers are not going to disappear, but they have to evolve and to keep up with time with the new consumer.
And how do you make sure that in the supermarket, the consumer understands the distinction of what Colavita is versus other olive oils?
That's tough to do at supermarket level. That's what we do with our marketing campaigns that we do online with the social media. We have a very strong team on social media, and with magazine, TV. We have an important budget that we use to promote, not so much to promote necessarily only our brand, but what's more important for us is to educate consumer, because when you educate a consumer, the consumer will recognize quality. You don't need to convince the consumer. When you open 2 bottles of oil and you try the better one, you really recognize. You need to be educated. You need to understand what's the quality, and that's why we do a lot of demo. We do a lot of a campaign about education, about what the usage of the oil are, because there's part of the country they don't use extra virgin yet. So we need to educate the consumer, and of course the media, the social media, the new consumers are helping us because they are more eager to learn, and they go online and they get a lot of information. They travel more, so that's growing, and we see the market changing.
Yeah, and olive oil has also been a category where there's been some controversy. You are finding ways to ensure that your product is 100%, virgin olive oil, and you're also working with California olive growers. Can you talk a little bit more about how you maintain that purity of your product so that when the consumer knows they buy Colavita, they are buying this pure olive oil?
Yes, actually, regarding California, we recently opened, 2 years ago, we opened our second headquarters in California. My cousin moved from Italy to California and to live there. He is local. We are local in California. But what we decide to do on the production side, like we do in Italy, we support the producers. So we decide to, differently from the big Californian player, we decide to promote the product that the small producer produce and to collect their product and market for them. So that's how we're doing our California product. It's the product of the different producers, because we believe, as we have been successful with the Italian product, that everyone has to do what he does best. And we do best selecting and marketing the product, and the producer, the farmers, are the one that know better how to produce the best olive oil. And in this case for California, that's what we have decided. And we are selecting, collecting, and bottling the product that comes from those farmers.
That's awesome. You mentioned before, you're one of the few, if not the only, family-owned business in olive oil, and you've had a very successful family-owned business. What advice would you give to other family-owned businesses and what it takes to maintain competitiveness and have long-term success?
Yes, we are one of the few, and for example, the largest California one, it's controlled by a Spanish hedge fund. So sometimes consumer doesn't know that they buy a California product, but it's owned by Spanish company. But the advice I would give to the company, they are a family business and want to stay family business, don't lose the focus on quality. As my grandfather was teaching me, keep the focus, don't get attracted by the volumes and reduce the quality, because that's a short-term solution. You have to work hard to gain your volumes on quality, and won't come overnight. The quality doesn't go. We are not the number one player in the country because we are on the premium side. So you can be premium and be the leader because there is a price point, and there is a consumer looking for that price point, which of course is larger than the consumer looking for quality. But you have to choose your battle. As a family business, you win on the quality. You don't win on the price.
That's really excellent advice. And again, I think it plays back to what you were saying about consistency. Shifting gears a little bit to your employees, I know from what I've read that you pay a lot of attention to the welfare of your employees and ensure the company's success are also good for your employees. Can you talk about some of the decisions you've taken to keep this in balance?
Yes, basically when I'm talking about the employees, I like to call family, not employees, because here we work like we are in a family all together. We spend most of our time in the office, more than at home. So I want this to be a family environment. So we don't, yes, of course, there are salary, there are bonus, there are incentives, everything, but there is something that helps employees when they have needs. There is so we help with our extra funds when they are in a situation that something happen, things happen in the families, and can be illness, can be financial troubles, so we don't want those situations to affect our employees. So we have extra support that are given to those employees to make sure that they can live, they don't have tension, and they can resolve their problems. And beside that, the company is a profit sharing that increase based on the results. So the more we make, the more we share, because what you achieve doesn't come I can achieve nothing by myself. So the team is the one that makes the company successful, and you have to reward the team if you want the good team.
And how many people work for Colavita today?
We have over 100 people directly involved, and then we have, of course, thousands of brokers working for us in the sales force.
You do business in 80 countries around the world. We've been talking about the U.S., but your business is truly global. What do you do to maintain control over that quality and inventory, really, across so many touch points? And what's your philosophy for being successful in so many diverse cultures?
So the reality is that we were the first company to make the decision to go abroad from Italy and to start promoting the extra virgin olive oil around the world. That was, of course, the main part of the success of today is to have been the first one. We got lucky too, because the Mediterranean diet was another big booster for our success. Because when they came out, we were the only extra virgin olive oil, for example, on the US on the shelf, or in Canada, or in Japan, and that boosted our sales because we got a lot of attention, a lot of media, and then how we keep quality. I mean, that's simple because there are only 3 family members that approve quality in production. So there is not. That's one part that is under the control of the family, and no one of our production can be released if it's not tasted and approved by one of the family members. Usually, it's the older generation in the company. We are all trained to release production batch, but the rule is that the oldest member of the family that is in the company when the blend is released is the one that has to release the product. So there is always that consistency. Everybody's trained, but the most experienced one release the quality.
And it sounds like you give a lot of respect, clearly, to your seniors for obviously their knowledge over a great deal of time. So what lies ahead for Colavita? What's your vision of the future?
I think the future of the company is going to be the online, of course, is a game changer, and we are trying to stay up and to lead this category, this market. So I think a lot of that is going to be playing there. The other part is, again, the food service. Our company is the brand that put the most attention to the food service industry. That's why here we are leading. In retail, we are not the leading brand. We are the leading premium brand. But in food service, we are the leading brand. And I think most of our efforts in the future are going to be to grow this presence. And I estimate to be around 60% of our total volume, the food service, in 3 years.
Wow, extraordinary. And, you have a long-standing relationship, and you mentioned it earlier, with HelloFresh, the meal kit service. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with the meal kit industry, and how do you see your presence in that industry with your products? Talk a little bit about that relationship and how it's growing.
Actually, that relationship started 2012 when HelloFresh was launched in the States. And HelloFresh, I don't know if all the audience know, but HelloFresh is the leading company in the US and in the world for meal kit solution. We started with them again when they were a startup, and at the time I was really focusing. As I was saying, I was putting a lot of effort and attention to the online. So every single order that will come to our online store will come to my email as well. And during the weekend, I would review all of them to make sure that the service is perfect, if there is complaint, if there is a request for different product, just to study what was happening in our online world. And I catch this HelloFresh, this company, HelloFresh.com, that's ordering few thousands of tiny mini bottles. And I said, who's this? This is not a private consumer. So I look at online, and I saw this beautiful website with a great idea of a meal solution. I thought were young kids, and as a young entrepreneur. So I told my marketing, let's partner with them, let's help them. I like the idea, I like the project, and we started like that. Today, HelloFresh is one of our largest customers, and delivers millions. I think has over 1.5 million customers. So we deliver to them millions of products. We provide pasta, oil, vinegar, tomato, pesto, a million products, and that for us it's a big booster to the sales because it's a constantly campaign, it's a constantly promotion of our product through their box, and they helps us to reach new consumer every day. And that industry, I think, is going to keep growing because catched a need of a consumer that has no time to do the shopping, doesn't want to go crazy to decide what to cook every night, like the idea to get all the ingredients. It's very simple to put together, great quality. I mean, I'm Italian, and how for us important is the dinner or the lunch. And I found very new idea. I mean, you cook something. You don't have to be thinking about, just following the instruction, and you get great meals and things you would never ever cook. So I think it's going to grow. I mean, I don't know if we're going to keep the growth rate that it's currently having, where it's growing at high 20, high 2-digit, almost 3-digit growth. It's going to settle at one point, but it's going to stay part of the market.
We are talking with Giovanni Calivita. He's president of Calivita USA. Your website again, Giovanni, where people can find your products and you and everything else?
Colavita.com.
Thank you so much for being with us. We would have loved to talk more, but unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Have a good day.
To be successful, most restaurant owners require extra capital from time to time. When you need funding to renovate, buy equipment, or manage cash flow, you don't have time to track down financial statements or wait weeks for a decision. That's where Kabbage can help. Kabbage gives small businesses access to a line of credit of up to $200,000. Apply online and you'll get a decision right away. Since Kabbage is a line of credit, you can take the exact amount you need. You never have to reapply to take additional loans, and you'll only pay for the funds you use. Kabbage has helped more than 230,000 businesses from every industry, and with $4 billion in funding, Kabbage is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and was named the Forbes Top 100 Companies twice in a row. Check out Kabbage at kabbagewithak.com/food and wine, and you'll get a $50 gift card when you qualify. That's kabbage.com/food and wine.
Line of credit is subject to credit approval. See terms and conditions. All Kabbage business loans are issued by Celtic Bank, a Utah chartered industrial bank, member FDIC.
And Peter Weedfald, SVP of Sales and Marketing at Sharp Home Appliances, is here to talk about ovens, that critical component in any cooking environment. Peter, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much, Don. It's a really great pleasure to have a chance to chat with you. How are you?
Well, good, and more importantly, Anne's on as well. I'm going to turn it over to her after.
Thank you, Don, and hi, Anne.
Thank you, Don. As Don mentioned, Peter Weedfald is here from Sharp Electronics, and we're going to talk a little bit about consumer needs and how those are influencing the development of new technology and the equipment that is already currently available. So, Peter, I wonder if we could start by having you talk a little bit about your career before joining Sharp in 2015.
Sure, I appreciate that. What a great honor to have a chance to talk about myself a little bit in my fast, hyper-changing days and lives here at the Sharp Home Appliances Division. But yeah, so I spent about 6.5 years at Samsung Electronics and left as Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing across divisions of electronics for Samsung, as well as the Chief Marketing Officer. And I spent a couple years at Circuit City as Chief Marketing Officer there and Section 16 Officer. And then I worked with GE for about 5 or 6 years. And here I am today at Sharp Electronics for the past 3 years. Thank you, Ann, for asking.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about what you learned from those experiences that have influenced the work you do at Sharp.
Well, a couple of things. One, I left something out that's pretty important, which is that I was with the Ziff Davis Publishing Company and for 10 years. So I was publisher of wonderful publications like PC Magazine, Computer Shopper, Mac User, Mac Week. And that experience of being a publisher taught me that the business that I'm in today, whether it was at Samsung or whether it was at GE or whether it's at Sharp, is we're all in a publishing business. We all are. The difference is we published magazines and websites in the publishing world under the great Bill Ziff, but now we publish products. So in the publishing business, as you know, you have to have a unique editorial franchise and position like Food and Wine does. You own a credible position at Food and Wine, and that attracts a distribution or circulation of like-minded recipients who have the will, the need, and the means for the information that you publish. And that then drives an opportunity for the A word, which is advertising, so that people who have brands and who manufacture products that have something significant with food and wine will have an opportunity to wine and dine, if you will, through advertising to reach the circulation you provide, which is all about the unique editorial franchise and best-of-breed content. We do the same thing in the publishing world, but now it's called manufacturing brands. So at Sharp, we build unique products. We call them simply better living products. The products are very simple to use. They're better than our competition and better for consumers, and it's about healthy living lifestyles. So that's our unique editorial franchise and position. That should attract an audience, a distribution, a circulation, which includes retailers, it includes consumers, it includes business partners, distributors, which then we get to sell our products just like in the publishing model. So my viewpoint and my vantage point, Ann, is the great honor and glory of the publishing model. And I think if you kind of scan around and look at every single competitor in the marketplace in our space, there's no one heading up both sales and marketing that has 10 years experience as a publisher in the marketplace. So thank you for the question.
Yeah, I'd like to build a little bit upon what you just said, which I thought there were 3 really important words. You said simply better living. And so I'd like you to talk a little bit more about how consumer needs in food have changed and what Sharp is doing in terms of the development of new products to satisfy or to support those changing consumer needs.
Sure, Ann, but as part of that is, on my side of the world, a brand is a promise. And you need to really be focused on what that promise is. A brand is also a metal, spelled M-E-T-T-L-E, that you have to shine every day. So when I say that our mantle, our moniker, is simply better living, and that points outward to consumers to declare, again, our products are very simple, they're better than what you can find in competitive products. It's about healthy living, which I'll touch on. But, Ann, imagine I force it to be pointed inside. I say to our factory, our engineers, our architects, our designers, do not dare to bring us products to market in the United States of America if they're not simple, if they're not better, and if they're not about healthy living. So when you're bimodal with that and you unite that together, Ann, you wind up building products back to the publishing model that are unique editorial franchise or unique products that drive circulation and traffic, which allows you to go sell them. So let me give you an example of that. I think that, Food and Wine magazine promulgates that wine drinkers have a 34% lower mortality rate than beer or spirits drinkers. Very cool. You also promulgate that moderate drinkers have 30% less risk than non-drinkers developing types of diabetes. That's great. So when I look at that, I say to myself, if we're ever going to develop products around wine, we should understand that wine is a healthy product and a healthy lifestyle, according to one of the best of breed sources, which is Food and Wine. So from our effect, when we say simply better living and we say better, let's talk about healthy living. So here's how we've postured at Sharp Home Appliances. Number one, we have taken a position around cooking with steam. Cooking with superheated steam is a very, very important part of staying healthy. So as an example, the Journal of Architectural and Food Chemistry says the effects of domestic cooking methods with steam on polyphenols and antioxidant activities on sweet potatoes is very, very good for you. The effects of different cooking methods in super steamed broccoli retain more vitamin E than boiling or stirring it. Steamed broccoli retain more nutrients than boiling or stir-frying. That's the Journal of Zheng University in Science. The Korean Journal of Food and Science and Animal Resources says that moisture content and lightness value were higher in superheated steam cooked chicken than boiling, grilling, or microwave cooking. So when I see this and I hear about this, I'm like, wait a second. Sharp Home Appliances has sold over 2 million superheated steam ovens around the world year to date. But Ann, the majority of those are in Asia, where people cook with steam almost on a consistent basis. In America, we haven't actually made the decision across every household, across moms and dads, children, school teachers. We haven't promulgated the high value of cooking with steam. So for me, it kind of makes sense since our bodies are about 60% water, and when we put food in our bodies, the saliva and all the liquids inside say, quick, surround that piece of food and hydrate it, moisturize it, so it'll get through the system better and quicker. When you cook with superheated steam at 485 degrees, you're basically cooking with water that is superheated and steamed, which browns the food on the outside and keeps it moist on the inside, knocks out fats, knocks out oils, keeps in your vitamins, and gets to the original texture of the food. And oh, by the way, since it's hydrated food, you're not burning it, you're not convectioning it, you're not dry frying it, you're moisturizing it with steam. It probably, in my opinion, is going to go down through your system a lot quicker and a lot neater because it's hydrated. So we've taken a position on superheated steam at 485 degrees with two very hot products, and we're proud of it, and we're going to get America to start cooking with superheated steam, either built into their kitchen or on their countertops.
So that product is called Super Steam Plus Oven, correct?
Well, there's two. The Super Steam
Okay.
Plus Oven. Super Steam Plus Oven is actually 3 ovens in one. It's 485 degrees super steam. It's 212 degrees, and it's also convection. That's a built-in oven that goes into your wall that retails somewhere around $2,199. But what we've done is just recently, and in fact your timing is got serendipity to it because we're just getting ready to release the product into the marketplace. We've announced our Trojan horse, our seed, to help America start to eat with a healthier lifestyle by cooking with superheated steam. We've announced a sister to our built-in, and it's called Superheated Countertop 485 degree steam. And this countertop unit is not $2,199, it's not $1,500, it's not $1,000, it's not even $500. It will be $399 on the retail shelf, and with it you'll be able to brown your food on the outside, keep it moist on the inside, and enjoy all the benefits of cooking with superheated steam right on your countertop. And oh, by the way, Ann, here's some bonuses. Number one, it's instant on, no preheat, no wait. So if you have food that's in the freezer, maybe by definition, DiGiorno pizza, as you use, if you're going to cook pizza, it says on the box, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, then you have to wait 15, 20 minutes? No. You take it right out of the freezer, you put it right into this $399 Sharp superheated steam countertop oven, and you start to cook, and it's done in 20 minutes. By the way, it cooks salmon unbelievably. It cooks asparagus, broccoli, French toast, you name it. It has 5 settings to it. It even cooks toast, 9 slices of toast. And as you know, sheet pan cooking is very, very big and very hot. This has a large pan which will take a 12-inch pizza or 9 pieces of toast, so it's perfect for sheet pan cooking. It's perfect for the world we live in, which is instant gratification. I don't want to wait. You just take it out, you put it right in, you start to cook, and you're cooking with superheated 485-degree steam, which is much better for you than any other cooking process that I know of.
So how does the consumer think of it? Do they think of it as, I mean, it sounds to me like it's not a microwave oven and it's not an oven. It's something totally different in terms of, so as you're talking to the consumer about it, how do you tell them what it is? Because it's, after the explanation, it's quite clear what it does, and it's kind of fascinating. It's really fascinating, but it's sort of like consumers going to say, oh, so I'm going to have this instead of my...
Yes. So what we would suggest is, let me talk about the technology just for a second, and I'll talk about the what it would replace or how it should work in your kitchen. So first of all, the superheated built-in steam oven is a pure 485-degree play. That's why, you know, it's at $2,199. The countertop has 2 parts to it. It has a thermal engine, if you will, and it also has the 485-degree superheated steam. So imagine this countertop unit has got a water well. You fill the water well up with any kind of water. It's good for 60 minutes of cooking. The engine inside this water well cooks it, heats it up to 250 degrees, and then that steam is injected into the actual cavity of the countertop super steam oven, and the thermal heating element brings it up to 485 degrees. What we suggest is that you replace your toaster oven that's in the kitchen now, and I'd like to suggest why. Many of us will order a pizza from Domino's, or we had salmon last night, or we had chicken in our house last night. We put it in the refrigerator or the freezer. We take it out, and what do? We put it in a toaster oven, if you will, and, you know, we cook 1 slice of pizza. It smells good. We pull it out. We put it on the counter. We then go and get a drink, and when we come back, we say, I can't eat that. That looks awful. It's either rubbery or it's hard, and you don't want to put that in your body. What the 485-degree superheated steam does, Ann, is it revitalizes the bread. It revitalizes the cheese because you're hydrating it again. You're actually cooking with water, and the water is what hydrates and how food is originally cooked. So that's the real difference, is that you'll enjoy the first time you cook your food on this countertop superheated steam 485-degree Sharp oven, and you'll enjoy the food 3 days from now. And again, both is about simply better living. Very simple to use. It's got only 5 dials to it. It's better because, 1, it's going to taste better. 2, all the benefits of cooking with steam. And 3, it's fast. You don't have to preheat. You don't have to wait. And then 4, it's about a better living lifestyle.
You know, Don, I almost, we were having such a fascinating conversation. I wanted the opportunity to have you ask Peter a question. Do you have a question for Peter?
I want to tell Peter I loved his analogy about publishing. I know a lot about Ziff Davis from a lot of different angles. But the other thing that I wanted to ask is, compared to your usual radar oven, how much electricity do you use on a comparison basis?
Yeah, it's 1,750 watts. The cavity is 0.5, so it's consider it half the size of a conventional 1.1 microwave oven. But again, it's very deep, so it can accept a 12-inch pizza. It can accept 9 slices of toast. So it's actually designed to do things that you currently can't do with your toaster oven, like cook a whole 12-inch pizza if you'd like with superheated steam.
Well, but how about in power? How much power do you use in comparison?
So it's about the same as a large microwave oven. It's a 110 volt.
Yes. Standard household.
Okay.
Standard household outlet.
Can you, since it is Food and Wine Insider, can you tell us how you envision commercial restaurants and others using these units?
So restaurants we already have a business with restaurants, Don. It's a commercial division that I also run. These two products, the built-in and the countertop, are designed for household use. Our commercial division has a whole different program, and we have not released a superheated steam oven on the commercial side. The majority of the products on the commercial side are commercial microwave ovens used in, kitchens such as Denny's or, the back of, think of any restaurant that out there where they have to cook, 20, 30, 70, 100 meals in one day, and you need a fast action commercial microwave oven. But I thought it'd be interesting, Don and Ann, if it's okay, is to swing back to our mantle, our creed, our benediction of Simply Better Living, because I started out by saying that I think wine is healthy for you because I read Food and Wine, and I love the articles in there, and I take note of all the positive facts you say about drinking wine, even lowering the risk of stroke by maybe 50% who consume moderate amounts of wine. The other part that we're really focused on is the air you breathe and air purification. So we sold 2 million steam ovens worldwide, most of them in Asia. Do you know that we have a technology for air purification called PCI, which stands for Plasma Cluster Ion Technology? And we have sold, Sharp has sold worldwide these PCI engines which purify your air. 70 million of those engines, 70 million, have been sold. And again, the majority of them are outside of the United States. In Asia, I'm not going to say everyone, but I would say the majority cook with steam. In Asia, they understand the benefits of air purification. And those benefits are really important because, we actually digest a lot of bad things through the air. It's also good for cooking fumes. So air purification is very good for cooking fumes. And oh, by the way, just as an example, our PCI air purification can be found in high-end Viking refrigerators, where when you open up the refrigerator, it says, this Viking refrigerator is protected by Sharp's patent-pending plasma cluster ion technology to reduce mildew, mold, and odors in your refrigerator. So there are so many things about breathing correctly. Every day we spend billions of dollars on vitamins and pills and nutritional supplements. We take 23,000 breaths of air according to the EPA every day. It's a lot of breaths. And 35 million people have upper respiratory tract problems according to the CDC. 25 million people suffer from asthma. And it goes on. 80 million dogs are in America, with 75 million cats, according to the APPA. So, and we still have 17 of every 100 citizens smoke cigarettes. So it's very important what we bring into our nose, into our larynx, into our pharynx, into our respiratory system, because that bringing in viruses and bacteria and mold and mildew and dog dander and dust in your home or at work. Most of the parts of Asia, they have air purifiers in every room in the house and in their offices to prevent that. We have not taken that charge across America, and we have a very simple and better healthy living lifestyle air purification system called Sharp PCI that is just great to make sure that consumers have a healthy lifestyle.
So, there's a lot of air purifiers on the market. Peter, how is the one from Sharp different? What is it doing that's different?
Sure. So our air purifier, which really is very, very focused, again, on healthy living and, your ability to, have a great, healthy lifestyle, we're focused on what we call active technology. So we have, most of the air purifiers out there should at least have what's known as true HEPA, which will go after and reduce the amount of bacteria that's in the room down to 0.6.
0.0096 microns.
0.0096 microns. We go above and beyond that with what we call active cleaning. Active means passive. Most of the air purifiers are passive. They sit in a corner of the room, and if something bad like bacteria or pollen or viruses or dander comes by, it'll grab it and put it into the true HEPA filter. What we do is we use PCI, which is positive and negative ions. So think of oxygen and hydrogen being pushed out from the unit. It goes all across the room of a unit, of a room, all across the room, and it actually looks for those things we talked about, viruses, bacteria, dander, mildew, mold. It attaches itself to it, it destroys it, drops it to the floor, so you can vacuum it up and go back and have a healthy breathing lifestyle. So we have Sharp's PCI is active cleaning of the air versus passive cleaning where a unit sits in the corner and something has to come by.
Terrific. I wanted to shift gears just a little bit. One is, I wanted to get your view or Sharp's view on the use of artificial intelligence in the development of products, or what you see what role artificial intelligence may play in products as you develop them for the future.
Well, as we all know, there's two things we always want to make sure. One, we want to use conventional marketing wisdom in terms of building products for consumers that actually make them have a simply better living lifestyle. So don't build technology, don't build artificial intelligence or Internet of Things or smart something unless it really has value to consumers. One of the great values that I mentioned on our air purifiers and in our superheated steam is speed. Speed to get that food cooked, speed to clear up a room with bad caca and viruses and bacteria. So we believe in speed. What I personally may not believe in is if my hands are full of chicken, Ann, and what I need to do is open up the microwave drawer in my kitchen, the microwave drawer. So let me get it straight. With this new AI, I got to walk to the sink, I got to wash my hands, I got to dry them with a towel, I got to pick up my mobile phone, I got to open it up, I got to find the apps for the kitchen, I find the apps for the kitchen, now I find the app for the microwave drawer, now there's 10 choices on what I want to do with the drawer, oh there it is, let me push and open it. That's conventional, let's do AI because that's cool. But what we've developed is what we call Magic Wave. Magic Wave. And Magic Wave means our new 2480 has just been released, microwave drawer for a built-in microwave in your kitchen. You simply walk up to it, you wave up and down in the air, and the door automatically opens. So in that scenario, your hands are full of chicken. Now you can just wave at the drawer, pick up the carousel, the chicken carousel, put it in there, close it, and you're done. So yes, we believe in AI. We are deeply entrenched in technologies around AI, smart kitchen, smart cooking, IoT, smart home. But we must be very careful because everyone is rushing to the same thing. I go back to conventional marketing wisdom. Consumers want speed, they want simplicity, and they want it now. So whatever we can do to make that experience alive is great. One last example. In that thinking, perhaps it's easier to point to your oven in the air, turn your hand like you're turning a dial in the air to turn your oven on and set it to a temperature. Perhaps it's easier to tap in the air to turn it on than it is to open up your mobile app. Or perhaps it's easier to just talk to it. So we're developing and looking at all three. and utilizing partnerships as we work on it. But right now, today, we have brought out what I call the first human AI extension, which is just waving in the air and the drawer opens up.
You know, as you think about millennials, and I think a lot of the things that you said about speed and simplicity and want it now somewhat defines the millennials and how they think about preparation of food at home. What do you see as those differences, and how are you preparing the types of products that will make the millennials sort of even more efficient and better cooks?
So this is my opinion, and I appreciate you asking my opinion. I think everybody today is in the time deprivation business, at home, in their mobile lives, and at work. Nobody has time. And oh, by the way, I might suggest, Don and Ann, that we're also in the instant gratification business. You know, McDonald's started it 60 years ago, when suddenly my mother's kitchen was full of grease everywhere. We actually had to either take the wallpaper down or repaint the kitchen every year from the grease, from the cheeseburgers and everything else going on in the kitchen. Then they invented McDonald's, and everyone went, wait a second, you mean I drive a car in and they hand me a hamburger that's already cooked and I eat it? That's called instant gratification. And today, the millenniums are living in a world of instant gratification like we never even could realize could happen 20, 30, 40 years ago. Instant results. They can just talk to their mobile phone and it'll give us the answer. Instant results. I can go online, order this product, and have it at my house within a day. Instant gratification. I can go out, I can have somebody deliver food to my house. Instant, 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 instant. So they want instant gratification, and that's why the products we're developing are all about it. It's very simple. All our products, again, are very simple. They're better because they are instant gratification, and they're built on speed. And by the way, sidebar, they're built on healthy living. So as we're going through hyper-changing sure product cycles of mobile apps, AI, smart home, new products, new technology, speeds and feeds, plugins, all of that, we're staying ahead of the curve by bringing products out that allow millennials to do things like sheet pan cooking, because they don't want to do what my mommy did. My mommy had a pot for potatoes, a pot for string beans, a pot for asparagus, a pepper pot for the steak. There's grease flying all over. They want to go home after a long day at work, open up this pan, put the broccoli on it, put the salmon on it, put the asparagus on it, put the French fries on it, put it in there, and they want it cooked in 15 minutes, and they want it cooked to perfection. And oh, by the way, they want to know it's healthier for them. So that's what we're doing around Simply Better Living. That's a great question, Ann. Thank you.
And I suspect we're running out of time. And
very definitely.
I wanted to ask one last question, which is, what's the best career advice you've ever gotten?
The best career advice I've ever gotten is to listen with squinting ears, identify who the best mentor is, learn from that mentor, and then apply the same things I've learned. However, and Ann, this is important, the best advice I got was all we do, all Don does, all Ann does, all magazines do, all publishers do, all manufacturers and brands do is, our job is to service imagination. That's what we do for a living. We service imagination. I'm going to define that. The definition of servicing imagination is creativity plus relevancy equals servicing imagination. If I'm highly creative and I'm not relevant, I don't service your imagination. If I'm highly relevant and I'm not creative, I don't service your imagination. But if we're highly creative in products and technologies around Simply Better Living, and we're relevant, Ann, to the great questions that you asked about what are you doing for the millennials in product, then we can service their imagination. And the millennials and others' imagination, I want to be healthy, I want a long life, I want instant gratification, I want it now, and I want the products to be beautiful and shiny and matching what's going on in my kitchen. And that's what Sharp Home Appliances is focused on. And that's what we're happy to deliver to our circulation, our distribution of consumers, distributors, retailers, and everyone that we can touch. So thank you for the great question, Ann.
Peter, your website where people can find out more information?
Yes, sir. It's www.sharpusa.com.
We've been talking with Peter Weedfald. He's Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Sharp Home Appliances. A link to his website will be on Food and Wine Insider tonight.
You've been listening to Food and Wine Insider with Ann Daw and Don Mazzella at foodandwineinsider.com. Food and Wine Insider.